Doctor Strange is directed by Scott Derrickson and stars Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, and is a story about arrogant, selfish neurosurgeon who loses his ability to perform surgery by losing his nerves in his hands, and he goes in search of a mystical being called the Ancient One to try and help him regain his nerves in his hands after hearing a story about the Ancient One helping another man doing that. But little does he know, he's about to become one of the best sorcerers who can protect realms from other threats from other universes. So, Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. This for me is a masterful casting choice. He's terrific in this role. From the moment at the start that we first see him to the end, he brings everything to this role. If you had any doubts about Benedict Cumberbatch's portrayal and him not being faithful to the comics, fear no more, please. He will exceed your expectations. He's absolutely terrific. Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One, I loved as well. She really brought charisma to the character and gave her humour, which is nice, because I thought that the Ancient One would be a more serious character. It's nice that she can lighten the mood with her cool tone and her awesome jokes. I also loved Mads Mikelson as Caecilius, the villain in this film. I'm going to get disagreed with a lot on this one, but I loved him as a villain. He's by far one of the best MCU villains with Loki, and MCU seem to have a hard time with villains, and I feel like they nailed this one. There's also a surprise appearance by another villain that is higher up than Caecilius, which I'm not going to name because this is a non-spoiler review. Okay, so let's talk about imagery in this film. The 3D is terrific. If you're going to see this film, please see it in 3D. The 3D is mind-blowing. It is by far the best 3D I've ever seen in my life. From the way that the graphics move when the streets and buildings are moving to the minor details, it is terrific. Honestly, it is the best 3D I've ever seen in my life. So, how does this movie shape up against other MCU movies? For an origin story, which is essentially what this is, this delivers. Just knocks it out of the ballpark. This has got to be one of the best origin stories. This compares with Iron Man and I'm not sure, maybe Thor. The good origin stories. This is just a great origin story, and it's portrayed so well in a way that really connects with the fans. This does really good justice to the comic book in which Doctor Strange appears in his own series in Strange Tales. It's literally like you're taking the comic book of all these different artists and placing it on the big screen. It was just mind-boggling and terrific. So without spoiling anything, because this is a non-spoiler review, the 2 end credit scenes were also great. So make sure you stick around for them. There is a mid-credit scene and a post-credit scene. They're both great. I love them both. So I will be back with a spoiler-filled review. So make sure you subscribe for that, and that will be up in the next few days. So my overall verdict for the movie. How does this shape up? Well, it had a great plot, it had good charisma, and it had great characters, and the visuals were great. My only gripe with this movie was sometimes the humour got repetitive, and sometimes I was wondering whether I was watching a comedy or a comic book movie, because this by far has the most humour in any MCU movie I've seen, which is everyone apart from the Incredible Hulk. So I'm assuming that this would have the most humour by far from what I've seen. And sometimes it relies too heavily on that, and that's not necessarily a good thing. I was drawn in by the characters though, and the visuals were amazing. I liked the villain. I thought that Marvel did a great job of paying tribute to the comic book and the character. So I'm going to give this movie an 8 out of 10. Thank you all so much for watching, and my spoiler-filled review will be up later this week. You guys can click right down there. And make sure to give me a thumbs up on this video if you enjoyed, and comment what you thought of the video down below. Okay, thank you all for watching. You're all the best. Bye.